Overthinking is so common. It's something we all do, from small things to big things to things that don't even matter. So I'm going out to speak to people to find out what they get stuck overthinking and how they break free from the cycle. What do you get stuck overthinking?
The mind never switches off. Going through a messy divorce, and when I go to bed at night and the ideas come into my head and then they go round and round, I can't switch it off.
Yeah. And so when you're stuck in those spirals, what goes through your head?
I replay everything. I replay every conversation, everything I should have said, what I need to say, how I can resolve it. And it just spirals. The plates are spinning, none of it's connecting. So.
Yeah, so almost like lots of different channels of thought and going over post-mortems and replaying it in your head.
Absolutely. The replaying and going over and over is pretty off the scale at times. That's probably one of the worst.
And has it ever been so bad it stopped you doing something or made you see something as much worse than it really was?
Oh, a lot. It happens a lot. I get stuck in a cycle of overthinking and start procrastinating. And then before I realise it, hours could have gone past. And I'm literally paralysed with my mind re-spinning things. And I've disengaged with everything around me. I've missed appointments, late for work, oversleep in the morning where I don't sleep at night.
So hard and so overwhelming when it's like that. It's almost like being paralysed by it.
Completely. That's exactly what it feels like. You get stuck, paralysed in that cycle, and you can't see the light on the way out the door.
Can you give me an example of one of those times?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm dealing with a divorce. I opened an email the other morning, which I shouldn't have done at that time. Negative information. Instead of getting ready to go out, I sat down to redraft the response, which I should have left, and went over and over what I should have done in the last letter, what I really wanted to say to him. And in the end, I did none of it because none of it was making sense. I couldn't draft the email the way I wanted. By the time I'd finished, I'd literally lost an hour and a half and I was late.
It's so hard though in that moment, isn't it? Because even though you can see it afterwards, at the time it's all consuming and it can just take over.
It did. I couldn't do anything else at that moment. I had to respond because it wouldn't go away. And it didn't go away anyway, and I just lost an hour and a half.
And what's the best piece of advice you've been given when it comes to overthinking?
Stop and breathe. Just try and engage with my breathing rather than with my mind. So I have to take it out of my mind into the body, and it's starting to work.
I love that, breathing, just as a way to slow it down.
Yeah.
And have you got anything you'd like to ask me?
Yeah, if you have any more tips other than the breathing in your experience, what other tips could you give for disengaging in that moment to give yourself that space to think?
I think the big thing is trying to be aware of the situations that can really trigger it for you. And particularly when you're going through something so difficult like a divorce at the moment, it's knowing that those things are going to be much harder. And I know it's easier said than done, but the time that you look at things, like you said, really trying to avoid it in the mornings. But if you do, trying to find a way to disrupt it so that you're not just sat there going through it, phoning someone or just saying to yourself, right, I'm going to go for a walk and then come back to it. Anything that can just take you away from it for a moment. So then you get a chance for that perspective to come in. And I think with everything you've got going on at the moment, it's being a bit kinder to yourself because it is so hard going through all those things. Your capacity's less. It's really difficult to switch off from. So almost looking after yourself, you need it all the more as a way to deal with everything that's going on and feel like you're a bit more in charge of it.
I like the disrupt. That's what I'm going to take away. To think about disrupt the pattern. Yeah. Okay. That's.
And interestingly, like there's research that shows you just need to do it for 8 minutes and that then it can have a massive impact. And so when you think about it in that way, it's just thinking, actually, what could I just do for 8 minutes? Walk around the block once, play a game, listen to something, just anything that disrupts it.
It's really useful. I've never heard that before. The 8 minutes. I would definitely try that. Disrupt for 8 minutes. And for me, with ADHD, the impulse to respond is so quick. If I did put that just the 8 minutes in place, I think that could work. I would definitely give that a try. I've not heard that.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Donelle talks about getting stuck on every email and going back over every decision. And I think when we're going through a really difficult time, like a divorce, it's so difficult to unhook your brain from everything that's going on because it is so stressful and you're stuck in that fight or flight zone most of the time. But the trouble is when you're always overthinking, it becomes this habitual response so that you automatically overthink whenever there's anything related to, in Donelle's case, the divorce. And the trouble with that is that you end up almost doing it without realizing. So your brain can be stuck on these spirals and you haven't even intentionally meant to think about it. And the other thing that's so clear with Donelle is that she then ends up in freeze mode because she just gets so overwhelmed. It's almost like she's paralyzed. And that's what I love about the breathing technique she does. It's a way to just come back to herself, to kind of calm her body and mind and bring her out of that threat zone. And that's also why the disrupt technique is so important, because actually it's a way to disrupt that automatic response. And I think the final thing is to really recognize what you're doing. You know, it's so hard going through a divorce. The last thing you want to be thinking about all the time is your ex-partner. And yet when you're overthinking, that's exactly what you're doing. You're carrying that person with you all of the time. And so it's almost just thinking to yourself, actually, how do I want to spend my time and energy? What's most important to me right now? And focusing your effort and energy more consciously onto the things that matter to you.